think I need glasses.
Why?
It's starting to get hard to see things that are close to my face.
We're all gonna have glasses.
Probably should go get them peeped at, I guess.
Well, if it's close to your face, you need like reading glasses.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to wear them all the time.
Yeah. Just when we play like Magic and stuff, or like I'm on my phone, I'm like, what the fuck does that say?
Oh no, that's actually because you had a baby. Yeah, all moms
have to do that.
You hold a phone up to a mom's face and they go like this. They're like, and they either have to put it here, or they have to put it here. I don't know how it works.
What about the magic cards?
It's the same thing. Whenever I give my mom something to look at that's small, or my dad, they act like I just flashbang them. They're like, there.
Well, you see, both of your parents wear glasses.
Yeah.
And most of the time when you do that, they are not wearing them.
Yeah.
So I think it may be they need to put on their glasses, but they can't, so they do the squint.
Well, yeah, I get it. They squint, but they like. The part I'm saying is ridiculous. Is that they're like,
they make a noise. Oh my god, this is so small.
They act like I was just like, here, it's a spider.
Yeah,
and they're just like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm. I think I need to go get my eyes checked.
You probably should. I have to get mine checked soon because.
Oh, we could go together.
My last eye doctor
was insane.
Was crazy.
It was.
He thought that I needed a rock to protect myself from 5G.
Yes, and that he could use the Force.
In the middle, yeah, he believes the Force is real. Mm-hmm. And, if it was like a Star Wars thing, I think it'd be fine. But it wasn't. It was like
It wasn't a playful thing.
No, it was like no, this is real.
Yeah.
Actually, stop the eye exam. And he'd get up and he'd walk over and he'd try to push me, like tell me to put my arms out and like push my arm down. And I'd be like, you see, you fall over. And I'm like, yeah, because you push my arm down. Like, he'd tell me to stand on like one leg.
Yeah.
And then I would hold up my arms and he would get him like my elbow and he'd like push to like the side.
Yeah.
He would basically pull my arm.
Yeah.
And I'd fall because he's shifting my weight. Then he would give me a rock.
Yep.
Tell me to hold it. And then he would go a little bit more in, like a little to the side of my elbow. And push directly down.
Yeah, which isn't going to push you over.
It's not going to push me over because it's not shifting my weight. And he's like, oh look, see the 5G is screwing with my balance.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, nah, do it again. I give him the rock back, and then he's like pulling my arm, and I'm like, that's not. I was like, so like it's not how it works. He's like, well, and he'd start explaining things, and I'm like, can we finish my eye thing? Mm-hmm. And he'd look at my eyes, and then he would like read my future with my eyes. And I was like, this guy's insane. What's happening?
Your dad liked him.
My dad liked him because he said, oh, you're a nice person and you have close friends and stuff like that. And he told me, oh, you eat a lot. I was like, you asshole. And I was like, what, you saw the blood vessels straining in my eyeballs? This was like right before we got married. So like, it was mid 2020, which is when I weighed the most. So I was just like, I was like, my eyes checked. And he was like, you're fat. And I was like, thanks. You're fat and you can't stand up right without a rock in your pocket. You fucking dumbass. Here, what do you need to see too? See you later. Apparently he doesn't practice anymore.
He retired.
Yeah. Thank God. Because I really want to get my eyes checked again, but I didn't want to go back to that guy. Yeah. He was also like he was fine, but he was also like getting like upset at me the whole time. Like I was doing things wrong.
Were you?
I don't know. I wasn't medicated.
You're like fucking with stuff.
I can't. Like, hey. It's really hard to listen to doctors because they'll ask the most simple question. Like he could have said, have you always needed glasses? And right now I could be like, no, I was seeing fine until recently. But back then I would have probably said something like, well, like when I was younger, I thought that I couldn't see very well. And then one time I put on my friend's glasses and then I could see a little bit better. And then that helped, but then I didn't wear them. And then I got the prescription of my friend's glasses, put them on. And now I have an easier time seeing, but I really need to get my own prescription. He didn't need to know all that.
No, he didn't.
But that's what I would have said. And I'm sure that pisses some people off.
I forgot that you did that. You wore Caesar's glasses for a while.
I put on Caesar's glasses, which is one of our friends.
Yes.
Put on Caesar's glasses and like years ago and was like, oh my God, I can see.
We should hit up Caesar.
And then and then he let me borrow his spare glasses.
His old pair, yeah.
His old pair. but I didn't really like the frames. So I found his prescription on like a website and then and then got the same prescription with new frames.
Yeah.
And then I just went to the eye doctor. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, because it was during 2020, you couldn't get in to see the eye doctor. And then eventually they were like, oh, we'll let you come in and we'll look at your eyes.
Yeah, I was also lazy, so.
Yeah. Not anymore, though.
All right.
Oh boy, it's time.
This is the One D&D episode. We're only going to do one. I'm not going to make a video on XP to level 3. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who will be going over it.
Colton did.
Giving their opinions. Colton did?
He did.
Go watch Colton's video. Yeah. Go watch King Firehammer. I do not have the interest in making a video about it. I don't have the... Well, okay. I do have the interest. I just don't... I'm not interested in making that kind of video on my channel anymore.
Yeah.
Also, there's so many other people who do it way better. I'm not good at explaining things.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I didn't do very well. So I can make it funny, but I don't want to do that because it's playtest content and it's going to be like irrelevant probably in a few months, which is also like kind of why I don't want to dedicate major content into it yet or any real major thoughts into it yet.
Like
they're going to change things. That's the whole point of what this is. Anyways, for those of you who are completely lost, last week, Wizards of the Coast made a little snapshot video and they made like an hour-long video. I did not watch the hour-long video, but I did watch the small one. They're releasing new books in 2024, along with a lot of new content that they're going to put on D&D Beyond. And it's called One D&D. And the idea of it is that they are reprinting the player's handbook. They're making a new player's handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide and Monster Manual, that is backwards compatible with 5th edition and is more or less a variant on the current system that we have. And that's really what it is.
Yep.
They really didn't say more than that. It's just that it's a new set of core books. It's not a new edition. They want to move into editionless, which, by the way, want to say Craig said on this show months ago, on this podcast months ago, talked about how they're moving away from it being an edition.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really smart of them. I really hope they keep up with that because I think that that's great because 5th edition works really well. Everybody really likes 5th edition. 5th edition has brought them into a fucking golden age of TTRPG content and also like streaming and like D&D is huge. And we can owe it mostly to 5th edition. It's very accessible. It's easy to learn and understand and play. And I don't think they want to move away from 5th edition. I think what they want to do is they want to continue with what they have been doing, which is making new books that sort of, I guess, add some sort of variance into 5th edition, like new subclasses and optional rules. And the core 3 books, in my opinion, we just talked about this. It's so weird, Craig. Severely need to be updated. The DM's guide, for lack of a better term, kind of sucks. Well, especially now. And the fact that they're going to do all those new things, I think is extremely exciting. And I look forward to it because I haven't been, and I should really put this forward because there's been a lot of Twitter arguments and I don't want to really get into all of them. I just kind of want to discuss between us three kind of what our thoughts are. And I don't know, just talk about it because that's what the podcast is. There's been a lot of Twitter arguments and all that stuff, but one thing that it's just really annoying is that I've seen a lot of people kind of accuse people who are defending One D&D as sort of like Wizards spokespersons. Or I've seen a lot of people say like, okay, just keep consuming then and never criticize anything. And like, that's not, I guess I fall in that category of one of those people. I've been defending the fuck out of it because I think it's really, really, really cool. And I have not been burned by Wizards in the past. Maybe I didn't like a book here or there and I've criticized it after it came out because after I ran it.
You have an entire video talking about why Saltmarsh sucks, don't you?
Yeah, but that was after I ran it. I didn't just read it and decide this is terrible.
Yeah.
You know, because when it comes to stuff like this, it's a lot of what it sounds like on paper versus how it actually works when you sit down to play it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are judging it just by reading it. Anyways, So just to put that forward, I've not really been burned by them in the past. Ghosts of Saltmarsh, maybe I was like a little disappointed by, but I know who kind of led that book, and it was not like this major epic release or anything. And we had fun when we played it, so it wasn't like I was like, oh, this is the downcline of the decline of their content. In fact, recently, within the past year, I've loved almost everything they've put out, and I think personally that they listen to us a lot, and especially with Tasha's. Oh my god, Tasha's is so good because they took all of the criticisms that I've criticized the fuck out of 5th edition ever since I started playing it with the how to play videos. Like, I make fun of it all the time, but it's weird. I've kind of moved away from it because I really like everything they've put out. There's nothing, I don't have anything to criticize anymore. Even Strixhaven, like, I really liked Strixhaven, even though a lot of people are like, oh, the team is a homebrew. Like, I don't see it that way, but fine. So, yeah, I'm really hopeful for One D&D. I really like what they're doing with it, and I'm excited to see what's next. And I think that, and just to let everybody know, they put out a play test. It's a 21-page PDF on D&D Beyond that you can download, and it's got a bunch of new variant rules that I have to assume they want to use for One D&D. Then also, One D&D is also 2 years off. Also, One D&D may not be its name. I don't think it will. A lot of people are complaining about the name. It's just like D&D Next. It's just what they're calling it now, and then I think once the new set comes out, they're just going to call it D&D. That's the whole point. They want it to be editionless, so it's just probably going to be called Dungeons and Dragons.
For those of you wondering why I'm so quiet at the beginning of this, because I'm doing a lot of research to help kind of clarify things.
Yeah.
One D&D is the code name for the next thing.
There you go.
Wizards of the Coast has tons of different code names. This is just the process of them getting into it.
Cool.
I don't think it's been called One D&D either. I think most likely what they're doing for the last 5 years is going to be called Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
No 5, 5.5, no 6, no 1, no nothing. It's just going to be this is us. We have to have the name of the project for us beta testing these new systems we want to implement. I
never expected that. I never expected them to put One D&D like on a book. Like I
certainly hope not, because it's a dumb name.
It is, but I think it's a good code name. I mean, it's good to refer to it. I mean, like talking about it right now, when I say One D&D, we all know what we're talking about. Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. It gets their point across.
Exactly, it does get their point across. So I also did not read the I'm gonna sound very like I watched that video. I didn't read every single word of the Unearthed Arcana.
Sure.
That's what it is. It is an Unearthed Arcana, right? Yeah. That's what they called it.
More or less.
And I skimmed it, and I've seen a lot of other people talk about it, and I've seen pieces of it. And that is the most of what we've done. Have you read the whole thing?
I've read a large majority of it, and I caught probably the last half of Colin reading all of it.
Cool.
Plus, I've read the parts that are important to me. There's a lot of things like I'm not interested in looking at the new spell list. I think they're amazing, and I don't know if I have anything developer or mechanically that I would say I don't agree with that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, them moving spells around,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. That affects me zero.
Right.
But there's a lot of things in here that does affect me.
Yeah, and we'll get into them. And I want to go through it quick because we're not going to go through fucking everything. No. This is just sort of our first thoughts, like our first look, kind of our thoughts about it. And again, just like what I said, this is all of us just looking at it and taking it like face value, how it reads on paper.
Yeah, I think
we want to try out some of these rules and play test them. Colton's voice wanted to do that. I definitely want to, because I want to see how they work. And I think that's infinitely more important than whatever the fuck everybody's saying on Twitter.
That's what they're asking for too. They're asking for people to try it out and to give verbal feedback. And now that's the biggest thing I think we're going to really get into. And I think we should say right before we get into the weeds, feedback. Feedback is different. Constructive criticism is constructive criticism, not just criticism. Like there's a very large line here. Yeah. So if you do happen to have some kind of like, if someone out there does have a legitimate complaint that they feel like they have, go through the proper channels. That's the whole reason they're doing this.
The survey for it opens September 1st.
Exactly. Like there's a way to do this. Yeah. So there's discourse, but then there's also
they want your opinions.
Yes.
They want to know what you have to say.
And I guess that's why I tend to try to be a little bit more positive about stuff like this, because I don't know how the fuck it's going to be when we do play it. So if anything, I'm just hopeful for it.
I mean,
because it's stuff I like. It's stuff that's cool.
They did the same thing with Unearthed Arcana. You play it they test it for a month or two, and then they go, okay, well, this didn't work, and maybe this did.
It's kind of why I don't like Unearthed Arcana, is because every time we've play tested it, it's just been garbage, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, I don't like it. So, but this Unearthed Arcana is different. It's them pushing for a new system.
Yeah, but with the Unearthed Arcana that has made it into like a book, they've changed quite a bit about it.
It's almost always good, in my opinion. So I'm still disappointed about that Strixhaven one, but we already talked about that. So first couple of things.
What do you want to handle first? I have a lot of tabs open.
I guess we'll just touch on a few things that we thought was cool. We're not going to go over everything and just sort of I guess, kind of free flow. Spencer, was there anything, what was the first thing that I guess stuck out to you when you read it that you thought was like interesting?
I like that most of your all of your proficiencies, ability score bonuses, languages, feats, and equipment come from your background.
I agree.
That's a winner.
You get your size, speed, and a special trait from your race now.
That is so much more about building a character than building a piece of the lore, like
you no longer have to go, well, I want to have this bonus to my dex so that I can play a good rogue, so I'll play an elf.
Yeah.
And now you can just go, well, I'll play whatever I want now.
I can go that I have an idea for a character that looks like this. And this system is now letting you go, okay, you can do that. Which I think is really good. I think that's really nice for especially new players who are sitting at the table and want to go, okay, I want to build this. Or even if they don't have an idea, it's still, I don't know, it's still the same shit. Like you're just getting it from a different source.
I also think that before backgrounds were kind of nebulous.
Yeah.
So I would go, here's your class, here's your race. And the background half the time be like, if you're a new player, don't fucking worry about it. I don't want to get into it. I don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
But
just
now
your
this
equipment.
It's just a bunch of bullshit. But now it is they've made it a little bit larger of the pie. So it's now, instead of it being like, 40-40 and here's 10%, they feel equally 30s.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be a little easier to explain for new people, because they'll be like, oh, now I have a background. So I think it's just a matter where it comes in. For me, I build how D&D Beyond builds. I build race, then class, then background. I think from now on, I might go background, then race, then class.
Yeah.
So two things. One, and I want to touch back on background because it's I have a thought on that. But the first one was, I just thought it was interesting that you that it's harder for you to explain it to new players, because I've always felt the opposite, where it's like the background is really easy to explain to new players, and I almost want to give it to new players more because it has the personality traits and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, see, so you're making a person.
Yeah.
This is the part where you're making like an actual being that lives within this world. And it's now where we like, I don't even know what Kazira and Lazarus's backgrounds are. And I don't think it fucking matters, because you guys know how to play this game, and you know how to get equipment, and you know how to make a character. You don't need that shit anymore. But now it's important. Now it matters. And that's so fucking cool.
I think for me, it was similar to alignment, where backgrounds getting bonds and flaws were more descriptive than prescriptive.
Sure.
And I felt like explaining it to them put my new player in a box, which I think the hardest part and from me coming from a game store teaching new players every day, the hardest thing to comprehend is the fact that D&D doesn't put you in a box.
Okay.
So I think once I put them in a box and go, here's your thing, the second they see someone else's thing not in a box, their brain shuts down.
Okay.
Because they're like, then they revert back to a board game. You're like, oh, my character has this bond, then I can only be this bond.
Interesting.
And I think
because
new people don't know they can go beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, this is a starting point. You can explain that, but sometimes that can be really limiting.
Interesting.
And I feel like this background now really does flesh it out enough to where it's not just going to hinge on these are things, because even backgrounds and flaws, you're supposed to choose on your own way anyway. You're supposed to use them if you can't come up with them all the time, of course. But I think
that's really interesting. I've never really thought about it that way, that it does totally put them in a box. Because
I think they need to be in sometimes. But it's hard when they're like, D&D is so much not that. Yeah.
When, in my experience, and it's less than yours because whatever, but every time I try to teach a player and I go, here's everything you can do, it's overwhelming.
Yes.
And the box is nice because they go, okay, this is all I have. And then eventually it sort of grows, but I don't know, it could just be different player to player.
I think a lot of it.
I think you're right though. I think it's better to go, this is a game where you can kind of do anything. Yeah. So it's better to just kind of put you in that scenario first so that you know that from the get-go.
I think for me, when I was teaching new people at the time, it was, I have two difficulties of teaching someone, because D&D is complex and there's two large issues that I always run into.
Yeah.
One, it's so vast and unknowable that there is no correct or right way to play the game.
Right.
then it's mathematics. Tons of rules and crunchy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need to teach the person how to do math. And eventually they'll figure out systematically why they need that, why that stuff operates the way it does. They've been trained to do that. People are naturally inclined to understand like mechanics more than the abstract.
Yeah.
You're going to tell a story.
Right.
I can tell you why 2 + 2 = 4, and I can show you where that comes from, but people are going to naturally figure that out eventually anyway. What they won't figure out is why is that person being able to do backflips and cool things?
Yeah.
And is that in the rule book? Where in the book does it say that?
Yeah.
And that's always my first thing. I'm like,
and that's what's special about D&D.
Yes.
And I think that is another big win for me on One D&D is that it's just making it so much more accessible to new players. Yeah. That to me is the best part. And every time I look at something and I go, I don't know if I like that. I just think, how would it be if a new player came to the game and you got to explain that? It's like, oh my God, that's 8 times easier. Yeah. 8's I don't know why I chose that number, but that's so much easier to me at least. Second thing, when you were talking about backgrounds is, this small thing. That's how I tried to build Fallout when we were running that, was that because the system's sort of classless. So I wanted you guys to think about more of like, what has your person been up to this point? And that just kind of was a little bit more important too.
As Spencer was talking about, actually, I was like, you know what it's a lot like? It's a lot like Fallout. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not trying to say, "Ooh, I'm so great." I just built Fallout to be like, this is what I think would be fun. So the fact that they're doing it is like, oh, this is fun to me.
I think this is a great segue into the greater point. You didn't come up with it. Neither did fucking Mike Merles. Neither did anyone. Let me not be vague. And Mike Merles, Chris Perkins, and Jeremy Crawford, the people who have real power and real control, have always said anytime Succession was asked about was that we do not create additions unless there's community outcry.
Yeah.
We don't create change because we need to.
Yeah.
We create it if there's a community outcry to have it. The fact that you're doing it means other people are doing it, which means people are vocalizing it through these surveys that they provided or any other source and going, the background's really kind of nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have mechanical purpose, has a lot of flavor purpose. And there's other people that are going out of their way to make it mean more.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, I see that. How can we do that?
Yeah.
You like this? That's a lot of it. That's what one idea is. You like this? No's okay. But there's also...
I like the backgrounds being important. I think backgrounds are awesome. I think they add so much more to characters, you know? And I like them mattering. So yeah. Was there anything else that you had in there? Sorry, I was just moving on because you're talking about backgrounds.
I like that they've I would move away from the background conversation if you're asking what my next favorite thing is.
That's what I
like
asking.
the different caterories for spells. I think that's really
Me
interesting.
too.
Because you had a complaint a few months ago, maybe nearly a year ago, about how you thought that the bard should have access to other classes' spells and be able to learn them through song and seeing them cast spells and being able to recreate that. And I think giving different categories of spells and maybe letting, different classes go to different types of spells is much more interesting than just you get this and then you can't ever have this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of bard being similar to wizard. Not exactly, but wizard in the sense of like clerics and druids where they have their spell list, and it would be cool if bards could do the same. But what they're doing with these new spell lists, they're doing it's arcane, divine, and primal. That's so easy. Yeah. That's so easy to explain. Yeah. Right now, even like advanced players have a hard time figuring out like what magic, like it's not that it like magic being complicated is cool because it makes it feel deep, but it gets to a point where it's like as a game mechanic, it's so confusing. And I think that this is really, really nice in a way to explain it, because when we were first playing D&D, I always thought that there was a difference, and there's arcane magic and divine magic. Yeah. But it was kind of like, I don't know, kind of not really, it's based on your class. Now that it's based in like, I guess its own lore version of like a category of spell. God, that's so cool. That's really cool. Yeah. That's a really cool tool for not only players to use, but also DMs to use.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it opens a lot of new avenues for narrative exploration of why those three exist and how do those exist with each other. Do they balance? Is there some kind of people watching over that? I think that's an interesting idea, and I think love it. A lot of the times it was arbitrary why a thing was in anyone's spell sheet anyway.
Yeah.
Just because of vibe. The vibe felt more wizard than warlock, I guess.
Yeah.
This creating like these larger vibe, like umbrellas, bangers.
Fun for subclasses too that dip into those types of magic.
Yeah.
Now we aren't just like, why does this, okay, when Tasha's came out and Wildfire Druid didn't get Fireball. Yeah. It's like, why is it Fireball? And to me, it was always like, because Fireball's more of like a arcane kind of spell, but there's nothing to say that in there. But now you can. Now you can be like, no, Fireball's the wizard spell. Yeah. That's the arcane spell. Yeah. You know, that's for them. And these are the primal spells, ones. Which is different. And I love it. So good.
Yeah. It's easy to explain too.
Yes.
To almost gamify it to a new player as well.
Sorry, moving on from that. Was there anything, was there more, Spencer, that you liked?
I like the slowed condition. I think that's neat.
Give us a drunk condition. Can we have
a drunk condition?
Can we have like inebriated?
I mean, you did that for a while in one of our games.
There probably should be one, I think.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's just poisoned. Like I get maybe they can't put it because it's like reference to alcohol or something, and they want it to be, I don't know, more kid friendly. I don't know, but which I understand. But if there was like, I don't know, if maybe that's what the slowed condition is or something. I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
There's slowed. I think they updated grappled and
Can you explain slowed?
Slowed is you have limited movement. You must spend 1 extra foot of movement for every foot you move using your speed. Attack rolls against you have advantage, and you have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. I think
that's great.
I think grappling gives the grappler the slowed condition, maybe.
So you move 1 foot for every extra foot you move?
Yeah. So essentially your speed is halved.
I wish it just said that.
I think because there's just some weird like stuff going on with that, where like I think that's definitely like from my background of like Magic the Gathering. There's
it's a gamified sort of way.
There's a reason for that that probably one instance will come up with.
Right. I know a spell that does that. It's the vine one. The vine growth one, whatever it's called. Can't remember, but it's like that one. Yeah, it creates like thorns too.
I don't know what it's called.
And it's I always thought it was weird because it said that. It says for every foot you move an extra foot. And it's like, why doesn't it just say it's
because I think there's other ones that say for every foot you need 5 feet. So it's not really half. It's like quarter or fifth.
I thought it was that it's just a difficult terrain.
No, I think there's one that definitely does give you like a weird, like every foot you move requires 5 feet total.
Okay.
But I can only imagine there's some gamified.
You're right. It's definitely like a magic-y.
They've been doing it for years. There's no reason. Like they could have just said halved if it really was halved. There's a reason they're not.
And the only reason I'm complaining is because I have to think about it. Because I just want to say, now that I've like every time I prepare for Icewind Dale, when they have like a weird rule text, I'm like, huh? And then I read it and I go, oh, it all makes sense. It all plugs together and makes sense. And I really like that. I really like when it all works together and there's not some weird kind of off text that doesn't make fucking sense. It all makes sense if you just read it and think about it for a second, which is cool.
But if you are grappling someone, you become slowed. So if you're holding on to someone, you move slow.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I like that. And they made grappling better.
And when you are grappled, you have disadvantage on attacking everyone except for the person grappling you.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank God. Yeah. So, except for the person you're grappled by.
Yes.
Oh,
so the
that's
person
cool.
holding you can still stab, but anyone over there, it's hard to reach.
Very cool.
That's fun. So we have like cool things to try and prevent people from running. You can like grapple them and try to tackle them. So
very nice. Yeah, I heard that they had made grapple better, and I skimmed it, but I didn't process that part, which is really cool. Yeah. That's really neat. Grapple sucks anyways.
But now you can take the grappler feat and actually do something.
Yeah. And move and like displace people and move them.
Maybe if you take the grappler feat, you won't have the half movement.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah. You just pick them up.
Add that to the survey.
Yeah.
Add that.
That'd be neat. Was there anything else that you liked, or just stood out to you
not
immediately?
that I can think of. I dislike not getting to crit on spells.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We're going over stuff that is cool and fun. I like the new tieflings. For me, I really like the new tieflings. You stole mine. I really like the new spell categories. Those are really nice.
For those that
what is
don't
it?
know,
Chthonic tiefling?
What is the new tiefling thing you're talking about?
So there's 3 new kinds of tieflings. Or are they replacing tieflings, or are they? I don't know.
They're just adding more. Let's see. Where are you, tieflings? I think they're towards the Tieflings. 3 new ones. Here you go.
Are they new or are they replacing what we already have? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. It's just 3 new Tieflings.
Okay.
There is so what
There's
we got
Abyssal,
here? Yeah. So you can Abyssal, Chthonic, or Chthonic, or Infernal. And Abyssal is, so the idea, I guess, is that you are getting the type of Tiefling that you are depends on, like, the source. One's Infernal, so like devils, and then there's one that's demonic influence, which is cool. And then Chthonic is like Eldritch, which is really neat. Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
I assume.
Sorry, go ahead.
I assume that the Infernal one will just be all of the they have like the archdevils.
Yeah, the layers.
I assume that'll just encompass all of those, and maybe they'll keep them.
Yeah, cool. I think they're definitely trying to condense all the Tieflings into 3 sub races.
That makes sense.
Kind of like elves.
I like that,
because I think elves and Tieflings have gotten away from them a little bit.
Yeah,
and there's too many of
so many.
They all need to be condensed into different categories.
And then if you want to keep a sub race, it's backwards compatible still, so you could just take one from 5th.
Cool. That's neat. Yeah, they had a thing in there, like a sub bar that said talked about half races and how they're kind of expanding what can be half races. And I didn't go too deep into it, but I did see a bit of sort of valid criticism on Twitter that says that, like, I don't know, it's a little weird because the half races shouldn't be referred to as just half races. They should probably have their own names. But
I think they probably will.
Yeah.
I think the obvious one is already trademarked by someone who did that.
What is it?
I think they're called, let me find out. Because that's that one we talked about a couple weeks ago, was like a half orc and a whole orc and something had a baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, somebody made a book about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think there's just the name of it is used. What do they call it? Parentage. Cool.
I
think they're probably just going to figure out the D&D website.
Okay.
Because there's also lineage, so they probably have to we have to find a name for it. That's not going to be too close to lineage, but also differentiate somehow.
There's a new celestial race, or is it a lineage? I don't know.
I don't know. I saw someone on our Discord talking about that, but I don't ever remember actually seeing it on the actual list.
I like that blurb of text that they threw in there that says that Tieflings are now regarded amongst heroes, and they're basically they're not retconning it. They're just sort of moving forward with the idea that, Tieflings aren't like outcasts and like seen as evil. And a new player who comes into your game who plays a Tiefling, you as the DM don't need to like immediately be racist towards them the entire game.
Yeah.
Racist in the most literal sense within the game. Which to me sucks. And I think that is cool that they put that in. I think that's great. And also it's not just a retcon. It makes sense.
Yeah. The other one is called an Ardling, and they have Exalted, Heavenly, and Idyllic. That's the other upper one.
Cool. I like that a lot. And man, there was two more things. I had 2 thoughts in my head.
Go ahead.
First one, crits. So there's a new crit rule, and it's like that there. So people went back and forth on it a lot because it basically says that monsters, DMs basically can no longer crit.
Yeah.
Well, really what it says is that the only time that you do extra damage on a critical hit, like a natural 20, is on player weapon attacks. No, player weapon attacks.
Yeah.
Which is ranged weapons or bows, swords, stuff like that. Which means that there's no more crits on spells, and DMs don't crit anymore. Yeah. And then I saw some people say that, I think MT Black on Twitter said like that the player's handbook or in the DM's guide don't specifically state that the DM ever crits. It only specifies players.
Yeah.
And then I guess Colton said that was wrong, and that in the DM's guide it does specify that the DM does crit. So I don't know.
There's also that on a natural one, it is a confirmed failure no matter what.
No matter what.
And then a natural 20 is a success regardless of difficulty set.
That I like that a lot. I already.
I'm trying to make sure I say something real fast because this is the one thing I think I have very like a lot of that I really enjoy. Mm-hmm. I like that DMs don't crit. Regardless if that's true or not, I might run that rule regardless. Mm-hmm. I prefer that.
I think I agree.
Yeah, I don't think a DM should crit anyway. I make arbitrary numbers and scales up anyway. If I wanted to crit you, I just do it. So
that's what I think is really cool, is that I think that they're doing this for the betterment of letting some monsters have a recharge ability that lets them crit.
Yes.
Or just giving the DM going, okay, you get 1 crit per game. I think that, or something along the lines of that, like, where you can give yourself as many as you want. Yeah. That way the DM can choose when to crit, which, when it comes to, like, running like, player side, I get, players would like that too. But on the DM side, when you're trying to run, like, hard combat, sometimes you just want to do some giga damage. Yeah. And I think that taking away the, oops, I accidentally blew up your character on accident, and instead giving the DM the choice.
Yeah.
So much better.
I like the idea that people are talking about more recharge abilities. Mm-hmm. I think that's huge. I think that's something.
They're doing spells with it, like with Mordenkainen's. Mm-hmm. They did with the new Mordenkainen's. A lot of abilities now in recharge, like Grot's counterspell, which I really like. I think that is the best. I think they should do more of that.
Also, if we all hate CR, there's a reason why CR is largely busted. It's because it cannot calculate the infrequency of what a creature will double its damage or potentially have no damage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Allowing this to be taken away gives a lot more freedom to people who are trying to balance the system overall.
Taking away spell lists from monsters and instead giving them actions that are spell-like abilities, but could still potentially be counterspelled. Yeah. So they're basically a spell, but it's on the stat block instead of it being like, okay, now go to the player's handbook and find Cone of Cold and roll all the dice for Cone of Cold, and then I think that spells not being insanely explosive like that is interesting. I'd like to see how it works.
The only thing that's the only part of it I think I agree with all of it except the fact that a spellcaster cannot crit.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's a larger umbrella thing. That they're gonna make them all saving throws. Because I hate when my spellcaster does a really cool ability and then misses. Uh-huh. They should be able to do half all the time. So I wonder if they don't crit because you're gonna get all.
I didn't think about that. That's really interesting.
Because to be honest, I hate spells out to hit. And I think largely most people don't take spells out to hit.
Huh.
Because why would you have to roll? Mm-hmm. When I could get guaranteed half. Make them all saving throws.
That's fair.
And then you can take the creatures that are trying to hit, make those more intensive, not dex or strength saving throws. Mm-hmm. And then the spellcaster doesn't.
Why have I never thought about this? That's genius. Oh my God. That's the worst part about spellcasting is sometimes you just don't fucking do anything. No. And that sucks. And I know for martial, classes that happens too.
Yeah.
But you can infinitely swing a sword.
Well, yeah, that's the difference is that there's a cost requirement to spellcasting. Mm-hmm. But there isn't to attacking.
That's cool.
I don't know if that's true though. Again, that's not.
I mean, if that was true, then they. Well, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. But even then, I can understand why they're like, let's try the crit thing, and see how bad it blows up before we go. Spells are all different because that would fucking.
I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. I already really like just natural 20 just working. Except on skills, I like it. I like for a total of I think that's better when it comes to skills, especially with natural ones too. Yeah. And I think that this is really interesting. Why don't you like it, Spencer?
I'm down to run with it. Mm-hmm. I was explaining to you and Colton in the car yesterday. I think just for a while, it's going to feel bad for players who have been playing for a while to roll a natural 20 and then not get the explosive damage that they're used to.
Yeah.
But I think after a while, it would, if we are getting something like this, it wouldn't feel as bad.
That also is something that's hard. Because that's a scenario where I want to have my cake and eat it too. Mm-hmm. I think spellcasters should have something like that. Mm-hmm. So that definitely is a critique I have. Mm-hmm. I understand if we have some kind of supplement where spellcasters going to have consistency over explosions. I still want my fucking person to melt somebody. Mm-hmm. So I think we need something like that. I don't know what that is, but I don't know what.
I think it'd be cool if they did remove the crits from spells, and then made it a meta magic option for sorcerers.
To crit.
Yeah. Could you imagine how good that makes?
And it would make sorcerers so good.
Worth it.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts. Could you imagine wild magic surging into a crit?
It would make sorcerers so explosive. Yeah. And wizards not. Wizards are just, it's just like, the spell just works every time I do it. Yeah. And sorcerers are like, They're just going all over the fucking place. Hell yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of cool thought about it. And I know they're trying to do something, but there feels bad about spellcasters. Because again, with that same scenario where you have to roll to hit anyway, you're already taking a risk. You could have taken half.
Yeah.
You're already taking a risk to have to hit and then hit a 20. You're going to hit for sure, but...
especially if you're a warlock, you usually got 2 slots.
Yeah, you should be able to blow someone out of the air. So I don't know, but yeah.
Or a warlock invocation, but maybe it's not as good as the sorcerer one. It's like a once per day kind of
Probably
thing.
be higher level.
Yeah.
I'd be afraid to give it to every class because then it would almost make it like a prereq.
Just don't give it to wizards.
Yeah.
Just take it away from wizards. Make Craig hate the wizard more.
Yeah, the wizard's already bad. I mean, I hope the entire class gets reworked.
I love wizard.
I hate all the School of Magics and all their half-ass skills.
I know. I love it. I love wizards so much.
You know what? The fact that there's not... I don't know if they're going to get away from schools because now they're doing Primal Divine and whatever else. But I wonder. I love that because that means all the wizards are worthless. That means they have to rework the whole class. I hate leveling up and going, great. I can pay a quarter of the value that I wasn't doing anyway. Or this skill's fucking worthless.
Or they just make better spells for each school.
That too. That too.
That would
signature
be cool.
spells should be not something I should pick. It should be like a banger spell that only I get.
God. Signature spell stupid. Oh, you want your 20th level? You want a first level spell you can just cast whenever you want?
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Like you can already cast it like a million times
already.
Yeah, you can cast it all through 1, all through 2nd, all through 3rd. I'm not casting it first anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they'll get rid of the spell types. I think they'll keep Abjuration.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I hope that I would like to see the wizards get entirely reworked.
I agree.
I think
I want that spellbook ability still, though. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think they should. I've always been a fan of never taking stuff away from a class. I always want more.
Yeah. I agree.
All these things should be that should be the inherently built into
and they know that
to the wizard, but I don't think they should be attached to their level ups.
I agree with that, and I think they've already done that. Like Order of Scribes is really, really good.
Yes.
And there's another one in Xanathar's Guide that's really good. Oh, the War Wizard is really good. So anyways, cool stuff. Crits are interesting. I definitely want to try them out, but I think we all agree that it may be a part of something bigger, or maybe they're doing the 4D mega brain move where that's why they put it in, was so that we go, well, maybe this is why they're doing it. And then they go, now we're going to do that.
Yeah, you wanted it. It's not my fault if you don't.
They're like, let's just throw this little rule in here and see how everybody feel. We'll ignore everybody who's pissy about it and see what people who are being constructive about it think. And then we might go with that. That would be, I just want to say, if they are doing that.
Chris Perkins, you're watching this right now. We have some great ideas. Hit us up.
I think, to be honest, I think overall, the only complaint I have about this first, patch notes is that I do not like that my spellcasters cannot crit.
What do you like?
I like a lot of stuff.
You like everything?
I like that I like the DM doesn't crit. I love that. I don't fucking like it. I don't want it to be around.
Yeah.
That gives me a lot of more freedom to it. I like all these race changes. I mean, I'm all for all of it. All of it I like.
I think I agree with you. What's the word? I think I'm jaded against spellcasters. I've been burned by them a lot, and been like, "Here's my spell. I'm upcasting it, and I crit, and your guy's dead." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
See, I always have to. I have the reverse. I always have to I always have to pay special attention to my spellcasters because they can quickly be underwhelming in my games.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite in my games.
Yeah, I think that's a large part of it.
Icewind Dale's like the first time where everybody's kind of playing a martial class and you're all kind of doing really, really good. But I mean, the fucking second you were able to cast some cool spells, it was like, oh, you're awesome now. So Vincent was a menace.
Yeah, I built him to be a menace though.
Abadir was insane.
Oh, God.
God.
You let that one get out of hand.
I know.
You didn't read Unearthed Arcana, now you do.
Well, nah. I mean, it was just Warlock. Warlock was just crazy. At the time. I wasn't. It was at the time. I guess the only spellcaster in recent memory that hasn't been as insane as I've always assumed was Lilia. But Tyler was very particular with how they built Lelia and took really, certain spells that wouldn't necessarily always work all the time. And Tyler knew that. And sometimes they would just fail their spell and be like, oh, that sucks.
Yep.
But Kurt? Oh my God. Kurt has been a bajillion times more powerful than Phelan. But now we're at a point where like I've been beefing up Phelan and Kurt's now multi-classing to where they're kind of hitting the same level, and I'm really happy about it.
Do you know what spell's coming back to bite you in the ass?
I know that and Core's popping off. Core's gonna start popping off real soon. Oh boy.
Steel Wind Strike. It's the best spell in the game.
That crit
Besides, Mind Spike, but
I think that crit rule also means that smites don't crit.
I think so.
Divine smites don't crit.
Well,
I think
it's technically not a
sneak
spell.
Attack still does.
I don't know because some people talk about that, but I wouldn't interpret it that way.
I think it would be DM's call for that.
Yeah,
I don't.
I think it that way.
I think they would still crit, especially a rogue sneak attack if any of the two.
Because a lot of
I think a rogue sneak attack definitely does.
A lot of it's like you have to like work it backwards. Like if we're willing to believe that the paladin attacking and then smiting is some kind of spell attack, does that mean the original attack is a spell attack? Like we have to go backwards in that logic. I don't think it makes sense.
Yeah,
to be honest, I'd be down for it. I think divine smite does too much damage anyways.
I think it should fucking blow people up.
It should.
I don't think it should have.
If you think it's a spell, then I should stop doing it while I'm raging.
Oh no, you just use a spell slot, huh?
You do.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? No, I'm not saying it's a spell. I'm saying that it says only weapon damage.
Yeah.
And that's technically not weapon damage. That's extra damage that you're getting on top.
I don't think it says the damage. I think it says the attack.
It does radiant. It's different.
Well,
then it would also mean that Blood Hunter rights wouldn't crit either, but the weapon damage would. Which is also why I've seen people say that sneak attack wouldn't, because it's extra damage. It's not the weapon damage, but I think that's dumb. I think it's... Jeremy Crawford has confirmed that it is the weapon damage, so I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I think there are better ways to like, because the paladin does do a lot. I would either like to get rid of improved divine smite, or
what's that?
Improved divine smite? I think it's like 11th level ability where all smites add one more d8 regardless.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So there's always going to be like another d8 in there.
Yeah.
Or get away from like creature affinities. Like if all, or make it like based around like your class, like your subclass gives you pick kind of like favorite enemy. Like that, you should have something like that, because I think there's just too many creature types that paladin fucking wombo combos on.
Yeah,
but I think they're using spells to get a couple d8 more. The only broken part of it is that they get to crit and then choose to smite at the highest level.
It's weird. I'm really not trying to devil's advocate you constantly, but it's just weird how much like I think it's the opposite. I think that paladins at higher levels should totally be wombo comboing the fucking archdevils that they're fighting. It's when they're level 3, they can do like 50 damage in a turn, theoretically. I did the math in like my How to Play Paladin video. I don't think it's that much, but I remember calculating it, and like regardless of crit, the paladin can do so much damage at really low level, and I think that's where it kind of gets out of hand. And I think that them not getting extra damage on the crit is
you have to ask
all right.
Why are they doing it at that high level? That level? Because they're attacking a creature that the smite almost entirely encompasses all creature types.
Sure.
That's why they're doing it at that high level. Because they aren't getting that unless the creature you're attacking has already a some kind of like hindrance to being smited.
Right. I mean, but I don't know. At lower level, I don't think you're like fighting fiends.
Yeah, you are. Imps.
I mean, yeah.
Zombies. You're fighting everything. That's the thing.
Imps and zombies.
You're fighting all of those things.
I bet there's also kobolds and humanoids and goblins and...
Yeah, but
Undead's the biggest one. Undead's the biggest one.
Gnolls
are humanoids.
You're not getting extra damage to those types, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'd rather the paladin do extra damage at higher levels than lower levels.
Okay.
I think paladins are extremely strong, levels 1 to 5, and then they just catch up to everybody else later.
Then that should. That's what I'm saying. I think they should have favorite foe then. They should level into having all of those types.
Or just,
You'd be anti-devil for the first couple levels. Then you'd be anti-devil and undead. And then anti-devil, undead, and demon. Or whatever. I don't know. What are the other ones?
I don't think that Divine Smite should do less damage. I like that. I think that's a good way around it. And I also think maybe them not being able to crit on the smite is also a good way to kind of balance it a little bit. But I'm cool with them popping off and doing giant damage. Just it happens a lot.
I think the only reason I don't want it because it happens a lot because they can choose to do it after they roll.
Yeah.
That's why it happens a lot. I think I would rather it be consistent. Either they can or they can't. Because I don't want to go, you get to roll double damage, but Paladin, remember, your specific instance, you don't get to roll these dice. Sure. I don't want to be the rules roller to deal with that. Sure. It's easier on me to just go the Paladin crits or the Paladin doesn't crit.
Sure.
Which means the rogue doesn't crit.
I think that
which means the other crits don't crit.
If we're not thinking about spells only being saving throws, I think that just encompasses everything then. Because I think that that's where that annoyance, and I agree with you, does stem from, where it's like, I rolled a natural 20. I get to do extra damage. No, actually, what you're doing right now doesn't.
No.
Oh, well, it's a firebolt. Well, doesn't crit. Sorry. Well, he crit on his greatsword. That's the only thing that crits. Okay, so do I crit on my bow? Yes. Do I crit on my bow if I cast a spell on it? No. Huh? I think that is a little confusing.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying. I think
I think that's the best argument I've heard against the spells. Yeah. Is because that's not on paper. Sitting and thinking about how that would play out at the table, that's really fucking confusing. Being like, okay, so I'm casting magic weapon on my sword.
Yeah.
Does it not crit now? Like, how does that work?
I think what they're saying is that if it's a weapons attack, it would, which means magic sword does crit because it's a weapon attack, which means a smite would crit.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying, and that's my point too. It should be all uniform and consistent.
Yeah.
Which I think is what
I agree.
Which is what they vocalize. They want it to be consistent and easy to get into, which is probably why they're giving a lot of the dirty stuff for us to sieve and go, this is where it gets really, really
so then if we're looking at it from that perspective, yes, Divine Smites and Sneak Attack would still crit.
I think
because that is a melee attack. That is the damage coming from your melee attack.
Yeah, and I think
and it's not a melee spell attack, it's a melee weapon attack. It's damage coming from your weapon attack.
Yes.
I also should say that if you ever pin me down and say, what do I want? It's never I want to remove paladins and stuff critting because I want to match the wizards. I want everyone to crit. I want my characters to get blown up more. That's what I always want. So I'm always a little biased in that instance. I want someone to deal 90 damage. I want someone to fucking die.
Sure. I mean...
So that's always why I'm more inclined to blow someone up.
I guess I struggle with that a little bit because I think it's always really easy to ask people to say, oh, do you want this taken away from you? And everybody's going to say no. But, when you're trying to... I guess when you're looking at game design, you're trying to balance it. Sometimes there are things that you do have to take away, and I always try to value that at least because, I don't know. I think it's really easy to look at something and say, "Oh, you're not going to have this anymore. Oh, that sucks." Yeah, I think we can all agree that it sucks when you take this thing away from me. Maybe that is a part of the game design, but I think that I don't know. I think that there has to be a line at some point. Otherwise. I'm not going to say that. That's. Yeah, I don't want to call it a slippery slope because I don't think it is. I think they know what they're doing.
The way I see it is game development is done through two ways: nerfs and buffs. The game is not underpowered if everyone is overpowered. If everyone is the same level, then the only thing we have to worry about is power creep, which means give the enemy an extra 0.
Fair.
Now everything's fine.
Yep. All right. Was there anything else that you guys liked from One D&D or anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I think that's it.
I had one more thing, and then we're going to move on to questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Felix brought it up today. Felix...
Just looking at my clock.
And he said that the only thing that they haven't talked about yet is having an SRD with third-party, like Kickstarters and stuff, or third-party books that can make stuff within the new system. I don't see them taking that away. It is kind of weird that they haven't brought it up, but maybe it's just because they're just doing Unearthed Arcana right now, and they'll talk about it later.
I think they'll bring that up in a year or two.
I hope so. Really hope so.
They also may not bring it up because it doesn't matter.
That's true.
Yeah, it could not change, so they won't bring it up.
That's fine, and I'd be cool with that.
No.
But I think it would be important that if they do release a new Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and DM's Guide, that they do release a new system reference document.
I don't see them not doing that.
I know.
I think it makes them a lot of money to allow people to make books
I also think
their books.
I'm just saying there are shitty companies who don't believe in that, but I believe in Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
I really hope.
I would be surprised if D&D did it. I wouldn't be surprised if Hasbro did it.
Yeah.
So valid concern, which is good. Make that concern vocalized in a constructive way, because then they'll realize if they even try to think about it, there's gonna be a lot of backlash.
It's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
I if that happened, to me, I think it'd be catastrophic. But that was the only thing. The other thing I want to bring up. I hope that they vocalize that soon, because it's got some of us nervous. So, anyways, I guess that's sort of it. I'm gonna stop talking about One D&D now for like a long time and go back to posting memes on Twitter.
I think that's the best for everyone to do.
God, yeah. And then we'll play test some stuff, and we'll send in our surveys, and we'll find Chris Perkins at his house and yell at him in his face and his dog.
No, don't do that.
His dog.
Specifically the dog.
I found you.
There you are. Not. Where's Curse of Strahd 2? Anyway, let's jump into some questions. I know we're doing a little bit of a longer episode here, but we'll try to run through these questions as quick as possible. You know what I'm saying? Cowboy.
No.
Hear me, cowboy.
Stop.
Next week,
is that what Huck sounds like?
No.
Next week, I do want to talk about the new books, though. Also, Spelljammer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Why are a lot of people shitting on Spelljammer? I've only seen. Okay. We'll get into questions. Next week. If you guys want to ask us questions, head on to Twitter on Mondays at what? What did you just whisper in there?
No. I'm starting my own beef, all right?
Start your own beef. You guys want to ask us questions on Twitter, probably 6 p.m. Pacific on Mondays at arcane _arcade because the person who has arcade sucks
and potentially could be dead. We don't know.
They've tweeted me 5 times and then never again.
Yeah, I mean, rest in power, I guess, friend.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm scrolling.
Sorry you died.
I'm scrolling.
Maybe it was your dentist.
Could you imagine?
It's not my dentist, it was my doctor. Weasley65 asks, I have a question for the mysterious Craig. When Sarabella talks, does she talk like a normal person or does she talk like a Protectron?
She talks like a Protectron. The only reason I don't do it because I want to commit to the bit. I was going to use a vocal changer, and that was going to stay the whole game.
That's
but
awesome.
We stopped playing online, and I was a bitch.
Yeah.
I wimped out. I didn't want to do it.
No, that would have been exhausting.
I imagine she talks like a Protectron all the time.
Hell yeah. That was a great question, because I've also wondered that and forgotten to ask.
No. She absolutely does. I just lack the confidence.
It's easier to
understandable.
Have fun. Don't make it harder for yourself.
Absolutely.
Isabella Bartholomew asks, what is some content you'd like to see from D&D, i.e. subclasses, classes, races, etc.? Honestly, nothing. I'm really happy with everything we have right now, and One D&D is everything I've wanted. I want a new Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, DM's Guide.
I'm disappointed that our lineup for next year didn't include a Magic the Gathering crossover book again.
Yeah.
Where's that at? But to be honest, that's all right though.
But they're doing Dragonlance and Planescape, so
that's also why I'm okay with it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of options, but I really wanted one.
Yeah. Ixalan.
Yeah,
I want.
I know.
If there's one I want, it's Ixalan.
It has
but
to
they're doing
robust dinosaur stat block.
Mia would melt.
They're doing a new set in Ixalan though, so maybe they'll see all of us new people who've got in.
And it is in the next year,
and we're gonna be like pirates, and they're gonna go. Oh, maybe we'll make a little.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. But that's the only thing I was a little like about.
Is there anything you guys want to see from D&D subclasses races?
More dinosaurs.
Oh.
I want to see dinosaurs.
Hell yeah.
I want dinosaur knights. I want dinosaur riders.
Yeah, I want to be... What are the... Aren't there like dinosaur people in Jolt? Terrafolk?
Oh yeah, where the fuck...
the Terrafolk.
Dragonbait is?
Yeah.
No, Dragonbait's a...
What is he? Is he just a fucking...
No, he's like a... No, he's a
horrible lizard man?
He just looks
he's
like
a dinosaur guy, but I forgot what the name of his race is.
But yeah, I like a dinosaur person.
Yeah.
We're kind of cool.
Craig, look it up. Look up what he is. Ty Universe asks, what are your favorites of the new Spelljammer races and ships? Also starting Icewind Dale. I'm so excited. Glad you're excited for Icewind Dale.
Monkey.
Have you good the whole time? I have to agree.
The monkeys are so cool.
Yeah, I have to agree. The monkeys are very cool.
Monkey.
I like the plasmoids a lot too.
Plasmoids are cool.
They're very interesting.
All of them are fun.
Eldritch Liches. So fucking cool. Yeah. Asteroid Spiders. Help. I'm peeing my pants. But they're very cool. And what was the other one?
I don't know.
There was another thing I saw that I was what?
The Vampirates.
Vampirates. Also great. There was another creature I saw that I thought was very cool.
You know what I should do? Is this the one I showed you?
Don't know.
Because I don't remember.
Don't remember.
What about
you? What about you? Those little penguins?
The auto gnomes?
The auto gnomes are pretty
Those are
cool.
cool.
Oh, I said otters. I'm like, otters would be cool.
Otters?
There's
I haven't really dove into it yet, but
there's a homebrew race that's called Gutterkin, where they're just tiny otters or like mice or like just like trash people. And then they're like, I don't know, 2 feet tall. They're adorable. I love them.
That's great.
His race is called I don't even know how to pronounce this. A Soriel?
Soriel. A Soriel.
There you go.
I don't even know what that is.
Dragonbeat.
Ethnicity, Finhead. That sounds like a curse.
Oh. Wolfkins27 asks, if you could go back and tell baby player/DM you anything, what would you tell them? We've done this before, but I'm glad we're doing it, but it was a long time ago. Yeah. And I'm glad we can answer this question again. Oh, it's a good question. I gotta think on this one. I have to meditate.
Stop playing rogue. There are better classes.
Like paladin?
Shut
the fuck up. You just like doing damage.
And wizard. Don't play sorcerer.
You're fucking Matthew McConaughey at the end of Interstellar hitting the wall. Yeah. You're making Ari and you're like, no! Sorcerer sounds funny. You're like, no!
Yeah.
Fuck, that's funny. Oh my god, I don't know. This is hard. It's like it's dumb because it's like that's a good one because like you really didn't enjoy playing sorcerer and had wished you didn't pick it.
Did it hit you?
You just fling a thing at me? Yeah,
I just flung a rubber band at Jacob.
Because all of mine, I guess like basically like I learned so much from my mistakes, so I would never want to undo that.
Oh, there's Giga Chat Jacob back.
Yeah, there he is.
Okay. No, I don't know. Don't run Storm King's Thunder.
No, that's where I first played Kazira. Don't say that.
Okay, you're right.
That was a fun game. We all got very drunk.
I know.
Playing Storm King's
It was a
Thunder.
good time. We all had some of that root beer. Oh, a little bit too much root beer.
Yeah, root beer.
D&D is not fun when like 2 people are drunk, but if everybody's drunk, it's
really
fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, Craig. What would you do?
Mine's recent, so it's not even baby me. It's like
you a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like me like recently. It was like during COVID. The DM job is multifaceted and massive, but is not to be the emotional pillar to hold everyone's emotions on. That's me during COVID. I was like, I am playing D&D, so my friends don't freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
And every day I just put all my ability to freak out in a box, and I'd go, sure, I'll be an old lady. Sure, I'll be this horrible person. I'm freaking out. Take time for yourself.
That's
fair.
Allow yourself to freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah. D&D is a fun outlet.
Yes.
Only if you have an outlet.
Yeah.
You're just as much as a player. Wow. You're just as much as a person at the table. Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't think I've learned that one yet. But then as you talked more, I was like, no, wait, I don't think I've ever done that. No. Okay. Maybe when I was starting Evenfall, I would tell myself,
don't
what?
Don't invite Jordan.
Don't invite Jordan. Jesus Christ, Spencer.
Limit Jordan's
Don't invite Jordan.
Limit Jordan's ability to change classes.
Yes.
That would have probably been
no. Okay. Don't give Jordan the flying broom. It's destroyed the game.
That's actually it. I would go. If I at the beginning of Evenfall was like, man, I'm going to talk to my future self and see what I can do to make this campaign better. I would look at I would go in the same room and I'd be like, oh my God, your hair's longer. And he'd be like, dude. Anyways, why are you so tired? Don't worry about it. Look, I only have a few moments. I have to tell you a few things. First of all, if don't ever give any of them a broom of flying. Number 2, you need to read on Umberly right now, and you need to add them into the game immediately. 3, you should tell Jordan right now that you really need to stick to your class and character. even though they're the embodiment of chaos. But Jacob from the future, Jordan has said that they want to be the embodiment of chaos the entire game. Isn't that the whole point? No, like, yeah, they stick with wild magic for like a few games and they can go off the fucking rails. You're not prepared, okay? You either need to be ready or you need to tell them to stick to their shit or make a different character for the future. Okay, I'm fading away, and that would be it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jordan's a problematic player.
No,
not at all. I love Jordan playing at the table. Yes. Jordan's great. Jordan just really made me work really hard.
See, that's the thing. You can be the embodiment of chaos in game.
Yes.
Not out of game. You blow up a tavern. Don't come to my table and then make me think harder, all right? Yeah. I'm here to make sure that tavern can blow up adequately so you can have fun. Yeah. Don't come in and go, I'm going to be this. I go, like, fuck you. No, you aren't. No, you're that stupid sorcerer. You're going to like it. You're turning into a potted plant. I'm going to shove you at the bottom of the ocean.
No, don't put them at the bottom of the ocean. That's where they want to go. Oh, stop.
No bother.
No bother. Do you remember that Winnie the Pooh movie? The one with Ewan McGregor?
Yeah.
I like that movie. We still quote it to this day. Yeah, there's a part where he looks at they go to a train station and Christopher Robin's like, we gotta get to the train station. And he's gonna try to buy a ticket and he's all stressed out. And Pooh looks at the guy behind the bar and he goes, why is he in a cage? And it's so funny that we still quote it all the time. I don't know why.
That's what I would say to myself.
Why is he
Why is he in a cage?
Why is he still in that cage?
Why are you in a cage? Why am I in a cage?
Next question.
Based Rambo asks, what's your hottest take on One D&D? Shut the fuck up. We already talked about it.
It's hot. It's hot and sexy. I love it.
Too many people have too many fucking hot takes on Twitter, and you guys are being, oh my god, it's not corporate propaganda.
No.
It's not corporate propaganda.
The hot take is that it's good.
Yes.
Can we lighten up? Fuck. Not you guys. You guys are great. You guys have lightened up.
Next question. Yeah. Put it back in the box.
I'm so fucking mad. Okay.
I'm not here to be upset. I'm here to have fun.
I can't do this.
Yes, you can.
Medalist asks, IDK if you guys talked about it already, but what did you think of Honor Among Thieves trailer?
Huh?
Looks great.
I don't know what that is.
That's the movie.
Oh, the D&D movie?
Yeah, the D&D movie.
Oh, I've only ever heard it called the D&D movie.
It's called Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves.
Looks neat.
And I think it looks freaking fun. Yeah. I think it looks like a good time.
Yeah.
If it's bad, I don't care. I'm still gonna have fun while I watch it.
I'll go to the movies, go get myself a little bit of popcorn.
Chris Perkins for sure then go, all my people can be elbows now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone fucked up. Mm-hmm. I want to be all owlbears and none.
Yeah.
Now they're all owlbears.
That's gonna be in 1D. They're gonna be like owlbear, beast.
Let them.
Yeah.
Please.
I want it.
Oh my god.
Gimme.
Chris Perkins, if you're still listening,
yeah.
make owlbear beast.
Please.
Crunchbite010 asks, when you first saw Halo, were you blinded by its majesty? No, I was
not.
I was more blinded by Logan absolutely fucking destroying me in Forge mode. Blinded by his fucking sword. That's more what I was blinded
Forge
by.
mode with the sword.
He's like, oh, I made a map. And then I play it and barely know how to play.
I made a map.
Barely knew how to play on an Xbox controller. I never played a Halo. And he was like, bitch. And I'd be like, Logan, this isn't fun. And he'd be like, it's rock, paper, scissors, bro. Halo's just like rock, paper, scissors. It's, you got a rock and you just keep picking up the hammer. You need to not that. You don't need that hammer. I'm like, but it's big and it's fun. And it seems like a good time. And he's like, I have a sword. Fuck you.
It's not a good time if you're dead.
Yeah.
You're like, well, fuck you then.
Also, I don't know anything about this map. There's balls falling everywhere. What are you doing? He's like, I built it. All right, sorry.
I don't think it's funny to anyone else.
Robin asks, are you going to have you watched the Bad Batch show? Oven the hot food, take the food out with the food. No. Are you going to watch the Bad Batch show? That's what it says.
Oh, yes. We are going to watch the Bad Batch.
We are?
Yeah.
I
gotta see my boy Echo again.
Okay, guys, we're watching Bad Batch. I thought it was free of Clone Wars. We finished Clone Wars. It was a good ending.
It was very good.
It was pretty good.
Loved it.
I kind of wish there was more, like...
No, that's all that it needed to be.
I really wish
that's the end of the Clone Wars.
I really wish that...
That was the end.
What about all the other clones?
Nah.
Yeah.
I guess that's Bad Batch, but they're...
Yeah. That's why we gotta watch the Bad Batch. You want more? You want more?
I want more Ahsoka and Rex.
Well, then watch Rebels.
I want to find out... Can we take out the episode with the two ladies that feel like they're from Borderlands and instead put in episodes about what happens after they crash on that planet?
No.
instead of it just immediately cutting to Vader.
Maybe,
I thought it was cool.
Well, maybe that's what the Ahsoka show will be about.
No, I want that.
Show your mouth.
The little guy dead.
Can Rex be in the Ahsoka show? That'd be so cool.
He might.
Maybe.
Do you think Tamara Morrison will play Rex?
I want
Boba?
him. What?
Well,
is that,
Craig.
Is that Boba?
Boba is the son of Jango Fett.
No, I know. I know that is.
Uses DNA to become
It's all
a
the
clone.
same person.
All the clones are Tamara Morrison.
Yeah.
I was just making sure that was the actor that played Boba.
Yes.
He's not the voice actor, though. It's that one guy.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, no.
Huh?
Sounds like him.
That guy's a really good voice actor. Artemis, Vampire of E, asks, if your characters were demigods, what would their divine parents be? What does that even... I don't even know what that means.
You ever read Percy Jackson?
No.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw the movie
Oh,
when I was older.
Yeah, no. That was the only part of me that I got into Bionicle instead of
Oh,
Norse
me too.
mythology
Yeah,
or whatever.
and Zelda.
Greek.
Yeah.
So in the Percy Jackson books, they go to this like camp called Camp Half-Blood because they're all half-bloods of like gods.
Okay.
Like his Percy Jackson's
Oh my
dad
God.
is Poseidon.
Oh.
And his mom's just a regular human lady.
Yeah.
So he's a demigod, he's a half god.
Oh.
So what she's asking is if your character were also the child of a god, what god would they be?
Which Greek god would
I
they
don't
be?
know if she means specifically the Greek gods
any
or
god.
the gods of like the
Wait,
Forgotten Realms.
is Artemis like the Greek gods or something?
Probably not. Probably.
Oh, I get it. Because Artemis is like
Goddess of the hunt.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
I was being a funny haha.
A funny haha.
Okay, so my character has a Greek god that I don't know.
You could also do the Forgotten Realms gods. I think it'd make more sense.
I don't even know them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lazarus is Anubis.
Yep, there you go. Done.
Yeah.
There you go.
Kazira is
I don't know. I was gonna say Zeus for Philip, or maybe Poseidon.
Zeus for Philip.
It's like lightning, but also I feel like
Zeus for Philip.
Zeus.
Zeus for Philip.
Zeus for Philip.
Zeus.
What
for
about
Philip?
Zeus for Philip.
Zeus for Philip.
Zeus for Philip.
Oh
Can
no!
I get a-
This is cutting into another 50 caps one load.
Can I get a Zeus for Philip?
Zeus for Philip. Right here.
I'm gonna need a Zeus for Philip right now.
Artemis asks, Zeus for Philip?
Yes.
Hey guys. Zeus for Philip.
That's what happens when too serious for too long. We just devolve into Zeus for Philip.
Zeus for Philip.
All right. Well, no, Kazira. Probably Artemis, right?
No.
Hunt. I don't know
Yeah.
anything.
No.
I'm very stupid.
Zeus
I'm
for
sorry.
Philip for sure.
Zeus for Philip.
Shut the fuck up. All right.
I don't think Artemis would want Kazira. So no.
Damn.
She also doesn't have any kids. So
What, then fucking what? Hades?
sure, we'll go with Hades.
As long as it's the one in Hades.
Hades in Hades?
Yeah,
Hades
the
and
one-
Hades.
Not Hades, the one in the
the
Disney movie?
No.
I like both, to be honest.
I have so much to say
The
about
Disney
all this, but I
movies,
can't.
Hades
the Disney
from
movies are the
Hades.
Next week.
worst movies I've ever seen.
What?
The Disney, no, not Disney. It's not Disney. Disney's making a show though. Apparently.
Did you just say Hercules is bad?
No. I thought you were talking about the Percy Jackson
I'm
movies.
on my way. I can go the distance.
Is that what that's from?
Yes.
I don't care
It's from the
how
Hercules movie,
far.
which is very good.
DMC'd by YouTube. All right. I know every mile. will be
Okay,
worth
theater kid,
my
we get it.
while.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
You did theater.
Ring ding,
I
ring ding.
knows anywhere to find where I.
Oh my god, was I singing? I didn't even notice.
I didn't even know that I
I
was
didn't notice I
doing
was
that.
singing. Oh, it's so
You guys think
embarrassing.
I'm good? It's crazy. It's so
Whoa.
bad.
I'm actually this understudy for the.
Philip. Jacob Smith asks, Zeus for Philip?
Ah,
Yes.
Philip. Ah!